I run 4 law firms. All of them are 7 and 8 figures. We generate 15 to 20,000 leads a month. I'll be frank with you, it's gonna get more and more competitive and harder to get clients and survive in this space, especially with. But yeah, where I am now is I run 4 law firms and I'm pretty involved with it. These 4 law firms, there are some that are based in California. There are some that are national kind of law firms. And last year was actually 7 law firms. And it was way too much. It was 7 law firms plus my legal academy, plus having our second baby, plus having a lawyer conference. And I think it was probably the hardest I ever worked ever in my life. And I peaked and I think I burned myself out. And I after we had our first lawyer conference, I basically made a promise to myself. I'm like, on the other end, I have to back, consolidate, cut down on a bunch of stuff, be a lot smarter, because that last year was not sustainable. So I ended up exiting 3 of my law firms. I basically gave up equity. I gave up salaries that maybe could pay for 4 people. Gave up on that so I could focus on my top 4 law firms. Even out of those 4 firms, 2 of them do really well. And again, I'm an active participant of those law firms. And that has helped me, having concurrent law firms has given me a lot of experience very quickly. You could just imagine how much experience you get with one law firm, let alone imagine 4 different teams, 4 different marketing systems, 4 different KPIs and things. I'm able to get that experience very quickly. And just to share some numbers, I actually had this big dilemma. I had a life coaching session this morning and I had this big dilemma. I'm like, I don't like about the numbers. At the same time, people need to I need to build the trust and provide the proof. So again, the validation. So again, I'm just straight up give the disclaimer. I don't like talking about the numbers. I don't love talking about myself. I just do it to make that people have the authority or the thing that they know that I know what I'm talking about. But 4 law firms, 2 of them are 7 and 8 figures. 2 of them are 8 figures. We generate 15 to 20,000 leads a month, which comes out to about almost 800 leads a day, which gives me a lot of experience to know what it takes to generate leads, but more importantly, how to sign them up. And sign up is the hard part. And I think that's what I've been mostly focused on is the sign ups. So we'll get into the weeds of all these things, by the way, everything that I shared with you and how to generate them, how to sign them up. Right now, these days, we sign up about 900 clients a month across these 4 law firms. I think I've been able to sign up over 34,000 clients in my lifetime. My first law firm has 3,800 Google reviews. We have over 200 case studies of people who have joined our program and got good results from it. And again, the common theme is anything that I share is not theoretical stuff. And I think that really sets us apart from anyone else. The experience that other people have is just, here's my experience, how I was able to grow my marketing company to get you. So let me give you that experience that you need. And I've learned that the nuances of running a law firm is a lot more complicated and a lot more to it than the nuances of a marketing company or something else. All the nuances that I share is literally hands down. It's the practical stuff about, here's the pains that I had about hiring a lawyer or the staff, the intakers. Here's how I was able to incentivize the intakers to get us to 900 clients a month. And here's how I did it. And I think that's where the true value comes from our program, is that practical, scalable experience.
900 clients a month. I know law firms do 900 clients a year. So, it's really, the scale is staggering what you've accomplished. The first 400 episodes, we basically had 3 themes or 3 types of guests. We had the successful solo or small firm practitioner who had a lessons type story to tell. Then we had who had a mindset or a skill set that I felt lawyers would be well advised to pay attention to. And then lastly, we had what I'd like to refer to as our gadget folks. People had a product or a service that solo and small firm practitioners might find useful in growing their firm. We've sat down and talked about the future of the law entrepreneur and come up with 3 practical and arching themes going forward. And I wondered if you'd like to take a couple minutes and introduce, since it's going to be largely shifting to you as we go forward, have you introduced the 3 new themes for the law entrepreneur going forward?
For sure. And as you said, it ties in a lot of what you've already built and spoken about. So if you're a listener, this is going to really resonate with you. And a lot of thought has come to this, months and years of thinking about these things to be able to share these 3 themes with you. Number 1 is early adoption strategies in a super competitive landscape. I'll be frank with you, it's going to get more and more competitive and harder to get clients and survive in this space, especially with AI coming. But good news is we'll be that source to give you literally the most up-to-date as the week, as it's coming. And then have our next episode, we'll do a little preview of next episode, what's to come. We'll make sure to give you the most up-to-date of that week, that month, of all those updates. And it will really speak to those early adopters and those pioneers that we have that's our audience. Number two, something that you love, Neil, is the tech, the software, the practical tools for daily use, especially to our Mac and Apple lovers. We'll try to have our Microsoft listeners in mind too, but for the most part, I think 80% of it will be talking about all those tools that we use on a daily basis. I'm a huge tech fan, and I know Neil is too. We'll share those insights with you, what we're using religiously ourselves, how to think about automations, how to think about cybersecurity, practice management softwares, integration, which is huge, which I didn't realize how important integration is these days, Zapier, and pretty much all the latest and the best legal tech tools. And number three, something that's very dear to me, probably even more than anything else, is self-development and the better you and the mindset kind of aspect of life. So I realized as I was doing my coaching program is, I could share all the tools and resources and everything in the world, but if you don't feel good, if you're not in a good mental space, if you're dealing with stuff that are out of your hands, it doesn't matter what kind of resources I can give you. We got to first tap into you as a person first. Your energy, your mood, your stability, your emotions, your stress management, your work-life balance. So that'll be a big focus for us. And sometimes, a lot of these things, especially when it comes to development, is obvious, but we'll try to be that source of reminder for you to give you that budge. Hey, don't forget about your family. Don't forget about to take some time off. And I always try to, stress those things. So yeah, super exciting. I think we couldn't pick three better themes that encompasses what you've already done so far, plus what's expected to come. Again, just to summarize, the early adoption strategies to stay competitive in a very competitive landscape, tech and software for daily use, and number three, self-development and better you and mindset.